Well, welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson, and what a delight to have back with us. Very appropriate, right on schedule. Can't wait to talk to her. Our good friend, Megan Barth. She is the founder of ReaganBaby.com, and there's a website for you. And I tell you what, a lot of good information there, and she is a delight. Megan, good to see you. Happy New Year.
Oh, Happy New Year, Perry. I'm really glad to be back. Thank you for having me.
You bet. Well, the big State of the Union address. Where do we start? Yeah, there we go. Have you ever been to one?
No, I have not.
Got invited to go to the last one of George W. Bush, and I sat in the balcony right over the door where they came out. It was a great shot. You know?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I look forward for a president someday to give a State of the Union address and then force the national cameras to look up about 10 feet above his head where it says in marble, "In God We Trust."
That would be nice.
That
Not
would be
going to happen this guy. Or perhaps someone that follows in his footsteps.
Yeah, there you go.
They booed God at the National Convention, at the Democrat National Convention. So.
Oh, that's right. He got kicked out, didn't he?
Yeah, got booed.
Hey, so what'd you think?
I really wasn't expecting the truth. So I wasn't surprised that the entire State of the Union was based upon some fantasy that Barack Obama has been living in for the last 7 years. Every single statement that he seemed to put out didn't reflect the State of the Union that a majority of the Americans are feeling right now. 76% of Americans are fearful of another terrorist attack, but yet Barack Obama tells us we've never been safer. He didn't even mention the 10 sailors that were taken hostage in our 2 vessels, but he did mention the Iran deal and what a success that was. So there was this complete disconnect from reality. And when Nikki Haley came onto the stage, I thought, oh, great. Okay, she's going to, argue about the facts and challenge him on all of the fallacies and lies that he just told us for 60 minutes. And instead, what she did is she attacked Trump and then kind of attacked the rest of America saying, well, don't be angry. Well, sorry, but when you do deals with the Democrats and when you sacrifice the power of the purse and sign the omnibus bill and when you act like Democrats, especially after the Republicans just gave you guys the largest congressional majority in Congress since the Civil War, we're mad. We're angry. We are betrayed, and we feel as though we've been lied to. So whether or not, if Trump is your candidate or not, that's the GOP's problem, because the GOP created the phenomenon of Trump.
All right. A couple of things come out of this. I can hardly stand it. I mean, the content just wasn't reality. But the attitude and the constant pointing his finger and scolding us as Americans is over the top for me. I could hardly handle it. And when the camera's swirling around and you get the various facial expressions, I really felt sorry for our military leaders sitting there taking that. I just could hardly stand it for them.
Well, nothing made me more sick to my stomach, because as I was sitting there waiting for him to mention one word about our 10 sailors. We have another potential hostage crisis on our hands. We already have 4 guys that are over there being held for, I think one is 4 or more years now, a Marine who has been in solitary confinement the last we heard. And he doesn't even mention this crisis. He doesn't extend a stern warning to Iran. Nor does he publicly, and he has a global stage, obviously, he doesn't give any comfort to our sailors. Reagan would have never done that when he would have the opportunity. So I was just really sick to my stomach. And then to watch Iran use our sailors as propaganda tools to show them on their knees, to show them apologizing, actually is not much different than what Barack Obama and John Kerry have been doing in the foreign policy stage with the despot leaders around the world.
Back to Governor Haley's response, doesn't that epitomize the divide within the Republican Party?
Oh, absolutely. The Republican Party, in my estimation, is completely tone deaf. They promised, like I said, the country, all of these grandiose promises, which are conservative in nature. Stop Barack Obama's amnesty, repeal Obamacare, pull in entitlements, stop spending. And they do the exact opposite once they get in office. So, like I said, this betrayal, they don't seem to recognize. They believe that they can get away with doing backroom deals and stabbing their base in the back and still expect us to come back and say, please, sir, may I have some more? And also on the campaign trail, you look at all of the candidates, the establishment candidates, whether it's Kasich, whether it's Bush, whether it was Rubio to begin with. I wouldn't call Paul an establishment, but when you, Lindsey Graham, they're all losing, with the exception of Rubio, after they started attacking Trump. So he's going to come back twice as hard, but attacking Trump is not going to win you the election. Perhaps attacking Democrats and not doing deals with Democrats will win the election.
All right, here's something that I'm really frustrated with, and you're hitting all around it. This House and Senate, led by the Republicans, passed the omnibus bill. In the omnibus bill, this funding bill, for a whole year now, the president and all of his programs have been funded for the rest of his tenure, including Planned Parenthood and Obamacare. So now we're supposed to believe them. They came out with a bill to defund Planned Parenthood and to defund Obamacare, as if it's going to go to the president's desk and get a signature. The hypocrisy of that, I'm so angry over the Planned Parenthood thing, I could hardly see straight. But I thought, are we really this stupid that they would pass it, pay for it, and then pass a bill thinking they can repeal it when they just funded the president and his agenda for the next year?
Yeah, it's kind of like an exercise in futility. When they had the chance to take a firm stand and stand on principles and actually stand on promises that they made and why they have the majority in Congress, they chose to relinquish their power, and all of the power now is in the executive branch. They basically just lied down. And this is not leadership. Paul Ryan certainly betrayed the American people, Mitch McConnell. And so I'm really curious to see who's going to primary them, because we've learned that folks like Eric Cantor can be primaried and he can lose. So as we continue to fill the halls of Congress with conservatives, and like I said, the majority, we're going to have to keep kind of thinning the herd and putting in true conservatives that will hopefully stand on principle, stand on the sanctity of life, stand on our national security, stand on smaller government, lower taxes, individual freedom, and states' rights. That's the conservative platform. When you act like Democrats, you might as well just not even show up for work. Let them run ramshod all over the country and pass every regulation and pass every abortion on demand bill and everything else that the Democrats' platform seems to entail.
All right, let me take a break here when we come back. With the President's State of the Union address, does it hurt Hillary or help Hillary? I mean, does she run from that State of the Union address, or is she forced to embrace it? And we'll be right back with our good friend Megan Barth. And by the way, check it out, her website, and that's reaganbaby.com, a great resource. We'll be right back.
I'm Paulina Leiser, producer of Focus Today. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure to check our other videos at theDove.us.
Okay, we're back, and our special guest today is Megan Barth. She is the founder of reaganbaby.com. What a great website, a great resource, and she does a lot of commentary and articles, and so you want to check that out, reaganbaby.com. All right, Megan, Is Hillary forced to embrace the State of the Union address, being a Democrat?
Yeah, I mean, they're all in lockstep. You know, the Democrats are always in lockstep. Sure, she's not going to, she needs Barack Obama's supporters, so she's certainly not going to run against him. It seems to me as though she's embracing his legacy and wants to continue his legacy, specifically when she's been such a large part of it in foreign policy. Right now, she's attacking Bernie Sanders because Bernie Sanders is outraising her. When you look at her fundraising numbers, she's given $15 million to the DNC, which is highly unusual coming from in a primary standpoint. Highly unusual. So when you look at the fundraising numbers, they're about neck and neck with her, a little bit behind, but her poll numbers have fallen from the 50s now down to the high 30s, and Bernie is beating her in some significant states right now. So she's not going to say, I'm a Democrat socialist, even though she's a socialist. She will still just say she's a Democrat, and she'll run on Barack Obama's agenda, but she'll have her own twist. And now with all of her scandals related to her private server and her classified emails, as well as the FBI now has expanded their investigation to include the Clinton Foundation, and their investigation will include fraud and corruption, which means that the Clinton Foundation was taking large donations from, you know, countries and countries around the world, and in return, and quid pro quo, Hillary Clinton's State Department was granting favors to those countries. So she's in a whole heap of trouble, but she's not going to run away from Barack Obama. She'll just take his platform and probably expand it on a private server somewhere.
So the Democrats have the same problems Republicans have. I mean, they're divided. And you got Chelsea on the stump now going after Sanders, and even some Democrats are saying, well, why are they doing this? So for the first time, we see a division within the Democratic Party. And you're absolutely right. Bernie keeps out polling Hillary at some of these beginning states. If he pulls it off, how much trouble is she in? If he pulls off Iowa and New Hampshire, how much trouble is she in?
Well, she's definitely going to be, excuse me, in some trouble. I don't know that she's going to be in as much trouble as when she gets indicted. And I do believe that the FBI will hand out an indictment, but I don't believe that the DOJ will pursue any sort of criminal activities because she and Loretta Lynch go way back even to the Arkansas days. But she's definitely going to be in trouble. She's going to have to step up her game somehow and try to recover. She's got, you know, here's what's interesting. I don't know if you caught this news, Perry, but MoveOn.org, who is in Barack Obama's back pocket, endorsed Bernie Sanders.
Whoa. No, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Well, I have a scenario. It's just an idea. It's based upon nothing other than there's no love lost between the Clintons and the Obamas.
No, and that's well documented.
All right, so here's my theory. The FBI recommends an indictment. The DOJ ponders it, and because the evidence is so clear, they have to go ahead and issue it. Obama comes along and gives her a pardon because the country can't stand a first lady going to prison no more than Gerald Ford would allow President Nixon to go to prison. And Joe is brought back into the race to rescue everything, and that gives Obama the real legacy that he's looking for. Am I wrong?
I know. I think it's a great theory, and I've said all along that once the shoe drops on Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation, that Biden or Warren would jump back in. And we've talked about that actually before. Mm-hmm. And that would be a serious problem for, I think, the GOP. Those would be contenders. You know, be careful what you wish for, right? I want to see Hillary Clinton go to jail. I believe what she did was completely criminal. When you have 1,300 classified emails that go through your private unsecured server, do you wonder why the world's on fire?
Yeah.
You know, we know that they constantly are trying to do security breaches. We classify information for a reason. And so when the news comes out 2 weeks ago or last week that says that she forced an aide to change a classified document to unclassified so it could be sent on an insecure fax, that tells me that's a crime.
Okay, so you have all of the issues with the emails and the servers. That's one issue. And you have the foundation investigation. That's another issue. But I think the one that, and they're all serious, don't get me wrong, but I think the one that now really is kind of the nail in the coffin, if I can put it that way, is they're investigating motives and emails that instructed staff to do things that was illegal. That's a motive. Now you have espionage 101 on the table.
No, that's absolutely right. When the FBI expands an investigation, it's never a good thing.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. I can't imagine the DNC allowing a avowed socialist to get the nomination. They can't be tagged with that. So somewhere in the wings, there is a candidate or a team of candidates, a nominee and the vice president nominee ready to come in and take it. And I can't help but think it would be Joe and Elizabeth. I could be wrong, but that seems to me to be the combination.
Yeah, no, I wrote about that on Reagan Baby. I said the Democrats need a plan B. And I also wrote over the Hillary. And that is a Biden-Warren ticket. They could come in and save the day. So they still get their socialism through Elizabeth Warren, and then they still get their blue dog appeal through Biden. And Biden will also be on the stump in a kind of a sympathy empathy. You know, I didn't want to do this, but I'm doing this for my country. Bo asked me to do this. You know, it's the same song and dance of the Democrats, pulling on the heartstrings of their base.
Well, it's yet to be played out. Interesting time. The debate tonight, what do you want to see?
I want to see the Republicans attack the Democrats for a change instead of the circular firing squad. I want to see them talk about the Iranian deal and Iran getting $150 billion. I'd like to see them talk about the rise of terror. I'd like to see them talk about the economy. I'm hoping that Fox Business Network will really be central to those issues. And it's not going to be some sort of reality talk show and we get off on, you know, what do you think about Trump? What do you think about Rosie O'Donnell? Bash this person. This is a very important election, probably one of the most important in our lifetimes, because it's going to be the fundamental difference between, are we on a path to socialism? Are we embracing socialism? Because that's exactly what the Democrats want. They want to turn this country into a European-like state. Or do we regress from the progressives and go towards liberty, freedom, free markets, capitalism, free enterprise, states' rights? This is the ideology that is presented to the voters, and people are suffering. So we need to speak to the voters instead of have the circular firing squad and really come up with some sound solutions on how we're going to turn this ship around.
It appears that Cruz won't attack Trump, but Trump now in a backhanded way is attacking Cruz over his birth certificate, that whole issue. These guys can't attack each other because they're probably going to be the ticket. So what are you going to do?
But you know what that does, Perry, though? That actually puts them in the spotlight.
Yeah.
It's kind of a win-win.
Yeah.
So you know, I always expect the candidates to kind of give some jabs. You know, that's part of the debate. You want to, you know, isolate your opponent, challenge your opponent. You know, Trump is bringing up some points that have been made that he's concerned. The Democrats already said that they're going to sue to stop Cruz from running. This isn't, and I don't put it past them. So, you know, Trump is picking up some very good points. Cruz is responding. Let's see how it plays out. I just hope it's not a cage match. That's not going to win. But a Cruz-Trump ticket, or a Trump-Cruz ticket, rather, I believe is a strong ticket and a possible ticket. Some people think I'm crazy, but that wouldn't be the first time. So.
This is just personal, I guess. Do you think Trump really wants to be president?
really do.
Okay.
I do. And, you know, I understand that there's a whole conservative base, and I've watched their ugliness, quite frankly, and there's been a lot of derogatory comments made, not just about Trump, about his supporters. And I tweeted about this last night, that it's nearly abusive. And you have some significant talking heads coming out and really chastising his reporters, and that's not helpful to the national dialogue, nor is it conservative in nature. I find it pretty hypocritical. But yeah, I do believe that Trump does want to be president because he has lost quite a bit since that time. He's lost a lot of money. He's lost a lot of endorsements. He's lost a lot of deals. And he's probably lost more than any other candidate. He's not taking anybody else's money. He's not being really, everyone else isn't being labeled a racist, a sexist, and a homophobe, and they're not losing businesses because of those accusations. So yeah, I think that his heart is in the right place. I don't think that this is a show, because I think the show would have ended a long time ago. I think the deal maker wants to make deals. I think that he wants to get this country back on track. I really do trust him, and this is important. People vote for the leader that they can trust, no matter if it's a woman or a man. We vote very similarly. So women will vote for who they can trust. Men will vote for who they can trust. People trust this guy. People trust Trump. When he says he's going to build a big, beautiful wall with a big, beautiful door, they trust him. We need a wall. I don't care if it's a beautiful door, but we need a wall. You know, when he puts out a tax plan, which is a fabulous tax plan, that's something that people can look at and trust that he will do. That's part of his platform. So, you know, he was the one that started talking about mass Muslim immigration into this country and our visa program and how it's broken. No one else was talking about that, and he was right. So people keep gaining trust because he's talking about the things that no one else seems to want to talk about in a very direct, you know, with somewhat bombastic manner. But when you speak from the heart, and when you're not speaking in politically correct terms like the Democrats are forcing many to do, people trust that.
And that's taken the day, because the frustration level's never been higher, and I think trust is the biggest issue. Absolutely. I've often said, if he wins the nomination, the best thing you could do to win the election is go down and negotiate with some landowners, private landowners whose land is right on the border, and build about a mile of the wall. just build it.
Right.
You know, yeah.
We know it would be done relatively quickly, and we know it would be good construction because that's what the man does. Right? So
interesting. Well, you're a delight. Keep up the good work. Let's stay in touch. Let's get together on the other side of the debate and see if there's any Pinocchios tonight.
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to it and would love to discuss it with you. Thanks so much, Perry.
All right, good to see you. And again, folks, go to reaganbaby.com. That's the website, reaganbaby.com. Thanks, Megan. We'll be right back.